Hey everyone, my name is Wedge, and we finally made it to the last episode in our Best of the Rest series where we talk about all the awesomeness from Hour of Devastation that we missed during preview season. In this video, we're going to take a look at the rest of the green cards because we've already looked at white, blue, black, and red. So without further ado, let's get right into it, and then we'll have our pre-release guide. Oh baby, hope you enjoy. Ambuscade is 3 mana for an instant. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. Green removal? Don't mind if I do. Can't ever say no to green removal, and of course it's conditional on you having a creature that can kill your opponent's creature, but come on, this is green. That's how removal is going to work, and I'm 100% okay with that. You get a nice power boost and can use this in the middle of combat to turn blocks your way, which turns the entire game your way. Ambuscade is a good card that will be in most green limited decks for sure. Beneath the Sands is 3 mana for a sorcery with cycling costing 2. Search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. The only time you're going to want to play this in limited is when you absolutely need the fixing. Maybe you're going 3 colors or 4 colors if you're insane. But either way, you only play this when you need the fixing. The cycling is great, but doesn't justify its presence in any normal strategy. Bitter Bow Sharpshooters is 5 mana for a 4/4 Jackal Archer with Vigilance and Reach, and playable. 5 mana for a 4/4 is already okay, but with Vigilance and Reach, yeah, this is going to make it into a lot of green decks. Reach is powerful, especially on a big creature. This is going to blank most of the flyers in the entire block. The Shapeshooters is a great card, won't be first pick, but it won't be last picked either. It's strong stuff. Devotee of Strength is 3 mana for a 3/2 Naga Wizard. You can pay 5 mana and target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. This card reminds me a lot of Stonewood Invoker. Much lower stakes, but still, 3 mana for a 3/2 early game is perfectly fine. That 3 power is going to take you places, and there's inevitability here. You get to give something +2/+2 in a late game board staller just to overrun your opponent. The Devotee has value at every stage of the game, and that makes it incredibly valuable. Early pack pick as far as I'm concerned. Green is really nailing it so far, dang. Dune Diviner is 3 mana for a 2/3 Naga Cleric. You can pay 1 of anything and tap an untapped desert you control to gain 1 life. Ugh. After that Devotee, this is not what I wanted to see. 3 mana for a 2/3 is just and this ability is laborious to say the least. First you need a mana to use it, then you need to tap a desert, and then you gain 1 life, so you're losing 2 mana to do this? I'm not a fan. I guess it's alright as a filler, but as far as uncommons go, I am not impressed. Feral Prowlers, 2 mana for a 1/3 cat. When it dies, draw a card. You remember in a previous video when I said I didn't like 2 mana 1/3s? Well, 2 mana 1/3s that draw a card, I do enjoy that. This cat is going to be an early blocker, and then when it eventually chumps and dies, it replaces itself. Can't ask for much more than that. Card advantage is huge and limited, and for this to take up some nice real estate on the board and then give you a present when it dies, yeah, definitely a good filler card for a green deck. It'll probably make a decent number of the decks I play. Frilled Walla is 1 mana for a 1/1 Lizard. You can pay 2 mana and it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Activate this ability only once each turn. Basking Root Walla. Okay, everyone be on high alert. Frilled Walla is very good, trust me. I've been through this before with other creatures like this. Frilled Walla is going to be one of the best common creatures in the set for limited play. Do not underestimate the power of a 3/3 attacking it on turn 2. This thing is stupid. Basking Root Walla was stupid, even without madness. Just play this card. You will almost always play this card. It is so good. Gift of Strength is 2 mana for an instant. Target creature gets +3/+3 and gains reach until end of turn. First of all, killer artwork. I could use a staff like that. Secondly, this is a wonderful combat trick. 2 mana for +3/+3 and reach. That's going to dumpster a lot of players. I wouldn't say this is an auto-include in any green deck, but you usually want a combat trick or 2 in creature-based strategies, and you could do a lot worse than Gift of Strength. It's alright. Hour of Promise is 5 mana for a sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 land cards, put them onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. Then, if you control 3 or more deserts, create 2/2/2 black zombie tokens. Well, isn't this interesting? We have a real desert thing going on here. Hour of Promise has one uniquely valuable quality to it, though. It lets you grab any land, not just basic lands, which of course lets you grab deserts in limited or standard, but also lets you get whatever you want in Commander, which means that assembling Dark Depths and Thespian Stage has never been easier, or Gaia's Cradle or Reliquary Tower if you're into that, Kessig Wolfrun, Alchemist Refuge, you get my point. I could go on forever. Hour of Promise has Commander value in spades. Life Goes On is 1 green mana for an instant. You gain 4 life. If a creature died this turn, you gain 8 life instead. I usually don't like these life gain spells because they don't do anything else and they take up a spot in your deck that could be used for a card that actively helps you win the game. But if you're in a game against a removal-heavy strategy or super aggressive creature suite, this could help stem the bleeding long enough to stabilize. Never main deck this unlimited. Keep it sideboarded and picked at the end of a pack solely for those games where you're literally getting run over too fast to survive. Majestic Miri Ark is 5 mana for a Chimera. Its power and toughness are each equal to twice the number of creatures you control. At the beginning of each combat, if you control the creature with flying, the Miri Ark gains flying until end of turn. The same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. I'm honestly not sure where to land with this thing. 5 mana is a lot, and it doesn't come with any keywords of its own, but it grabs everything from everyone else. Kind of like Odric, but way more selfish. Power and toughness based on twice the number of creatures you control is nice, but you need creatures anyways for the Chimera's trigger to be useful at all. I think this has a lot of power built in, but things have to go right for you in a big way. In creature-heavy limited decks, this is definitely worth a slot, but as a mythic rare, I don't think it's nearly as much of an auto-include as it should be. Card can still be really, really strong, but it just doesn't have the consistency. Overcome is 3 of anything and 2 green for a sorcery. Creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain trample until end of turn. Oh, it's like a little baby Overrun. Less color restrictive, but with decreased power. That's okay, because Overrun is stupidly powerful, and this is pretty sweet too. In any creature-based deck where you even get 3 or 4 creatures onto the battlefield at once, Overcome becomes a win condition. High-end game ender. You hope to open this in a later pack once you've gotten yourself established as a green creature deck. Still, solid card, it's real good. Quarry Beetle is 5 mana for a 4/5 insect. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Assuming you have some of these to work with, this beetle gets real attractive beyond the fact that a 4/5 body is pretty big in this format, but that isn't where I want to focus our attention. Commander is where I want to focus our attention. The beetle brings back any land to the battlefield. Wasteland, anything you sack with Lotus Veil, same with Scorched Ruins. Glacial Chasm, same deal. In decks that sacrifice lands all the time, the beetle is absolutely wonderful there. Look at Titania. I think she'll be happy with this card. Rampaging Hippo is 4 of anything and 2 green for a 5/6 Hippo with trample and cycling costing 2. Believe it or not, I'm gonna play the heck out of this card. A 5/6 with trample is definitely my jam. Not a lot in this limited format to block this Hippo, and if you don't need it early or can't afford to keep it in your hand, you have that cycling button right there at your convenience. Nice top end for a green deck if you don't have a lot to spice up there. Solid game ender, and it forces your opponent to have something to deal with it. Solid mid-pack green creature for me, maybe even a bit higher than mid-pack. Ronas's Stalwart is 2 mana for a 2/2 human warrior. You may exert it as it attacks. When you do, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn and can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less this turn. At worst, it's a bear, and bears always make good limited filler. At best, it has unblockable and comes in for 3 every other turn. You exert it when you can take advantage, block when you need to, don't exert when something bigger is there. Pretty versatile, solid 2-drop in any green limited deck. Sifter Worm is 5 of anything and 2 green for a 7/7 worm with trample. When it enters the battlefield, scry 3, then reveal the top card of your library. You gain life equal to that card's converted mana cost. Holy butts. Sifter Worm is crazy strong, outrageously strong. I don't care that it's 7 mana, this thing's a house. It's a green card that lets you filter the top of your library, love that already. Then you gain potentially a bunch of life, and you get a 7/7 with trample. This is powerful for an uncommon, definitely a high priority for me in limited. One of the strongest creatures we looked at so far. Yeah, this is real good. Tenacious Hunter is 2 of anything and 2 green for a 4/4 crocodile. As long as a creature has a -1/-1 counter on it, the hunter has vigilance and death touch. Well, my goodness, this is a good reason to be in -1/-1 counters again. A 4 mana 4/4 without any drawbacks is actually pretty decent and limited, but with the conditional upside of vigilance and death touch, something I'm very interested in. Since we're drafting this set with Amonkhet, the most value from this card will be in black-green decks, but even without -1/-1 counter synergies, it's still functional as a curve filler. 4/4s have combat presence, and it gets vigilance and death touch if your opponent puts a -1/-1 counter on anything as well, so force them to make a choice. And that's the end of the green cards, and I have to say, I don't know if it's just me, but green seems insane in this set. If we're just looking at these cards that we just looked at, green's impressive. Much more impressive than most of the other colors we've looked at so far. So what do you think? Do you think green has what it takes to be the best individual color in Hour of Devastation for Limited? I'd love to hear what you have to say. Also, stay tuned to the channel for our Hour of Devastation pre-release guide coming up real soon. That'll tell you everything you need to know about this weekend's pre-release event. You won't want to miss it. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. This video is brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com. Am I a broken record? I mean, yeah, I am, but who wouldn't be when you can get Hour of Devastation boxes pre-ordered right now for $88 each? Who wouldn't be a broken record? We're closing in on release, so if you want in, I got you back. Just click the link on the screen, helps the channel, we all win, enjoy.
What?